Hello everyone, this is Wasmatic, and this is a long overdue Witcher 3 skills and builds guide. On this occasion we are looking at the Wolf School gear and a build that complements the Wolf School armour. If you haven't seen or heard of the Wolf School armour, where have you been? But I will put a link in the description below which shows you where to get it and how to get it. Now, the Wolf School armour is widely being accepted at the moment as the best armour set in the game. Personally, I don't see why, but who am I to go against popular opinion? And the Wolf School armour is, in my opinion, it's very well suited to a hybrid build, so it gives you a mixture of adrenaline point gain, attack power and sign intensity. So it's obviously very good for a combination of combat skills and signs. So that said, I have made a build which is very much focused around the armour. It's very much focused on using signs as a means of crowd control, and then combat, specifically fast attacks, for your primary damage output. Now, I stress that I am playing New Game Plus, as some of you may have seen, but I actually made this build at level 36, and I've leveled up once since then. It is a build made for the original normal mode of the game, so it doesn't take advantage of the benefits of New Game Plus and the extra points. That said, let's dive into the build. I will offer my apologies now for this being overdue, and particularly to Gajira, who has asked me for it and was very patient. I simply didn't get it done last week due to real life pressures in work. So here we go. So, as I've said before, your primary damage output is from combat tree, and specifically fast attack tree. So it starts off with 5 points in muscle memory, 5 points in precise blows, and then 5 points in whirl to get that super fast attack spinning. It also gives you the additional adrenaline point gain. To complement that, and simply because we need the extra points in standard game mode to be able to do this, we have 5 out of 5 points in Resolve. That helps with retaining your adrenaline points. 5 out of 5 points in Undying, and that's literally just to get down the tree. And then that will be... there we go. 5 out of... I levelled up to 37, that's why. 5 out of 5 points in Razor Focus, where you gain an adrenaline point when entering combat. Very important. The acquisition of adrenaline points in this build is really important, and you'll see why now when I jump across to... there are 3 general skills in this build which I've never done before, but I thought for the Wolf School armour this actually works a treat. So the first and most obvious one, Wolf School armour, is a medium armour set, so is to take the Griffin School techniques, where each piece of medium armour increases your sign intensity by 5% and your stamina regeneration by 5%. So that will give you... How many pieces of armour have you got? You've got your boots, your gloves, your pants and your chest. I'm trying to think if there's headgear. I don't think there is. There's 4. So it's 20%. So it's 20% sign intensity and 20% stamina regeneration. Now the stamina regeneration is very, very important because when you're using the sign, which I have aligned to this build specifically, you can go through the stamina quite quickly, and likewise if you're throwing in fast attacks and specifically whirl, you can really burn through your stamina quite quickly. So stamina regeneration, incredibly important in this build. The second general skill that you want is Adrenaline Burst. Increases adrenaline generation by 5%, and using signs now generates adrenaline points. Now that's really important because this build specifically spams Axii. You'll be using Axii a lot in combat. You'll be spamming it, spamming it, spamming it. Stuns, taking mind control of 1. When the build's finished you could take mind control of 2 possibly, but adrenaline points, stamina regeneration and signs are very closely linked, so you can see there. And finally, focus. Now this is really interesting with this build and using the wolf armour, because adrenaline points increase weapon damage and sign intensity. So that means that despite the fact that this build focuses on using Axii sign intensity means you can snag those higher level monsters, you can possibly take mind control of some higher level groups. So that brings us then finally to the signs build. Now actually for this build we only want these 3 on the right hand side for Axii, which are Delusion, target doesn't move towards you, very important. Puppet, where you take control of an enemy and become an ally. And Axii intensity, just to give you that extra boost for intensity. Now all of these other points here, you can use them if you like, you want to mix the build up, but I literally took these just to get me down to there. In New Game Plus, you could potentially go down there and get two opponents being influenced by Axii at the same time, but the effect is 50% weaker. I'm not sure whether I would take that. So your slotted skills then become your fast attacks, so your muscle memory, your precise blows, and whirl, which is the attack that you probably be using the most. And bear in mind, this is your primary damage output. Secondly, and literally because you need to retain and generate the adrenaline points, is Resolve, Undying, and that's just to get you further down the tree, to be honest, and Razor Focus. Really important because you get the extra adrenaline point gain. Then you'll know this already. You've got your 3 Axii skills: Delusion, Puppet, and Axii Intensity. And then here you've got your 3 general skills. Now to complement those, for your signs, I have a Greater Blue Mutagen in that slot. I have a Greater Blue Mutagen in that slot, and even though it's not linked, it will give you an extra 10%. And then above, 2 Greater Red Mutagens, which give you 40% attack power. Now, the other thing I haven't mentioned, which I tend to skip over because I assume that everyone who's listening will be fairly au fait with this, but in terms of runes that you would use with this build, that is very much about personal preference. You could use your Perun. On your swords, you could use a Perun runestone if you want to get to your adrenaline points really, really quickly. You could use Velez runestones for your swords. You could get to your get your sign intensity up. You'll see on this one I've gone for adrenaline point gain, chance to stagger the greater Strybog. That was a mistake from me, I didn't mean to put that in there, but there you go. On the armour, I've gone for Axii sign intensity because this build just uses Axii, so I'm boosting it as best as I can. There, Axii sign intensity, you'll see that I don't have the greater runes. I don't know how that got Erden again, that must have been a mistake. But you can use these runestones anywhere you like. So you can go for attack power if you would rather boost your actual damage output. You could go for adrenaline point gain if you wanted to, and that would get you to your 3 adrenaline points faster, and then your sign intensity and your attack power at maximum very quickly. Or you could just go for your sign intensity. It's up to you. But that's the build. I've had to play around with it. I've actually had to come back and record this bit again because I had a corrupt file on my machine. I don't know what's happened there, but so I've recorded this last bit of the video first, where I've actually taken on some of these bandits. Now, here you go. Here's another good example to show you. So you can actually take control of the mobs. If I just start spinning, I mean, it's literally about crowd control and stamina regeneration. See that stamina coming straight back up now? I can throw a stun straight away, no problem. I mean, it presents no threat whatsoever. If you're fighting one-on-one with a monster, you can use it to stun, get in, throw a whirl down, and get away again. So I will show you the last bit that I've recorded next anyway, just so you can see a couple more examples of how I've used it in combat. Here we go. I have I found some critters to fight. There are beloved drowners. Because I've got Igni, I can always drop a shield on them before I start. But let's see if I can gather a group of these and try and get a fight going. You all, I mean, it'll be no great shakes, really. You all know how Igni works, but crowd control. Oh, well, there you go. You can see how easy that was. And that. Possibly not the best example, but you get the point. I mean, you can throw in a short stun, you can throw in a long stun. It's really down to you how you choose to play the build. But it is incredibly useful for crowd control. Like I said, on a single large monster, you can throw in a quick stun, you can throw in a very long stun. Either way, it tends to work really well. Some more deserters. Let's have a play with these. have to get some support. This is where the stamina regeneration will really come into its own. Stun and a chop. There you go. I think the other one's running away. Big coward. Anyway, so you can see the core sense of the build. It's predominantly focused on crowd control, getting those the opposition stunned, and from there you can proceed to chop them down. High crit, fast. Excuse me, and fast attacks. Oh look, more toys. There you go, get someone on my side. I do love that whirl attack, it's great. Anyway, that's it guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm really sorry that this Witcher guide took so long to bring out. I know the build's fairly obvious. There's multiple different ways you could use this Wolf School armour, but for me this was the one I would pick up and use. I might look at doing another different science build in the future, but for now, thank you very much for watching. Please give me a like if you like what you see, really helps me keep the content on track. But for now, I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much, bye.